The atmosphere was heavy with a mixture of anticipation and uncertainty as Prince Harry guided his two young children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, through the grand entrance of Buckingham Palace. It was the first time in years that they had returned to the United Kingdom, and for Harry, the visit carried a deeper significance. This was not just a homecoming, it was a chance to bridge the gap that had widened between his children and their grandfather. King Charles sat alone in his private quarters, his face etched with a weariness that went beyond his royal responsibilities. The recent months had taken their toll on the aging monarch, as he grappled with health concerns and the emotional weight of a fractured family. The estrangement from Harry had been painful enough, but the absence of Archie and Lilibet in his life had left a void he could no longer ignore. A soft knock echoed through the room. He straightened himself, his heart pounding in his chest as the door slowly opened. There, standing before him, was Harry, his darling boy, with a nervous yet hopeful expression. Beside him, Archie clung tightly to his father's leg, his large eyes darting around the grand room, while Lilibet peered curiously from Harry's arms. Charles rose to his feet, his eyes meeting Harry's for a brief, charged moment. Time seemed to stand still as both men struggled to find the right word. Either could speak. Archie's small voice broke the silence. "Are you my grandpa?" he asked, his innocent eyes locked onto the man standing before him. The question struck Charles straight in the heart. Here was his grandson, the little boy whose birthdays he had missed, whose laughter he had only heard in photographs and videos. Swallowing the lump in his throat, Charles dropped to one knee, bringing himself to Archie's level. "Yes," he said, his voice quivering. Archie's face broke into a smile, and without a second thought, he stepped forward, wrapping his tiny arms around Charles's neck. The unexpected embrace caught Charles off guard, and in that moment, the floodgates of his emotions burst open. He closed his eyes, holding Archie tightly as tears slipped down his cheeks. Lilibet, sensing the tender moment, reached out her small hand, touching her grandfather's shoulder. Charles turned to her, his eyes brimming with tears. He whispered, his voice cracking, "You're even more beautiful than the pictures." Harry stood a few feet away, watching the emotional reunion unfold. His heart swelled and ached simultaneously. It had been too long, too many missed moments, too many unspoken words. He blinked rapidly, fighting back his own tears as he saw his father, the man who had once affectionately called him darling boy, now pouring out all the love he had kept bottled up for his. Charles gently pulled back, his hands still resting on Archie's small shoulders. "Do you know that today is a very special day?" he asked, forcing a smile. "It's your birthday, Archie." "Happy birthday, my dear boy." Archie's eyes sparkled. "Do you have a present for me?" he asked innocently. Charles chuckled softly, brushing a hand through the little boy's hair. "I do. But it's not wrapped in fancy paper. It's something much more special." Archie nodded eagerly, his hand slipping into Charles's as they made their way to the palace gardens. Lilibet toddled alongside them, her tiny feet pattering against the marble floors. Harry followed closely, his heart lighter than it had been in years. In the garden, beneath a sprawling oak tree, a small wooden swing hung from a sturdy branch. It was simple yet thoughtfully crafted, with Archie and Lilibet's names carved into the wooden seat. "This is for you. Whenever you come to visit, you can play here. And whenever you miss me, just know that I'm always here, watching over you." Archie beamed, rushing toward the swing and climbing onto it with Lilibet following suit. Their giggles echoed through the garden, a sweet melody that filled the air with hope and healing. Harry stood beside his father, watching his children swing back and forth. For the first time in years, the silence between them felt less. "Thank you, Dad," Harry said, his voice thick with emotion. "For this." "For them," Charles nodded, his eyes never leaving his grandchildren. "I've missed you, Harry," he said quietly. "And I'm sorry." Harry's jaw clenched, but he managed to nod. "Me too." And as the sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the palace gardens in hues of gold and amber, the fractured family found solace in each other's presence, the pain of the past slowly giving way to the promise of a new beginning.